putting a shelf in the front of my trailer. This is going to be to store my gas mixes and chainsaw, spare blades, toolbox, just the basics. But I wanted to share a little tip or trick, if you will. I'm fastening all of this into the metal studs that run inside the walls of the trailer. But this front, get where I can show you, this front is curved. It's a rounded nose trailer. So in order to use a single board to maintain a nice straight profile line for the shelf to sit on, I used a little trick that I learned. On the back side of the board, I made this relief cut, and this is a 1.5 inch thick board, so I came to about 1/4 inch from the side. I set my skill saw, and I did this about every 10 inches, 12 inches, all the way across. Now in the front of the trailer it's a little bit flatter, so I went a little farther apart. These are probably more of the 12, and then the ones on the side, or toward the end, are more like 8 or 10 inches apart. But as you can see, that set up against that front of that trailer, pretty nice. So now I have a single board with a nice straight line across the front for my shelf. So just wanted to share that little trick in case somebody's going to do something similar in the future. Got the shelf all framed up, and I'm ready to cut my 1-bys. The front 1-by is going to be the tricky one, getting the proper angle cut. I'll have to lay it up in there as close as I can get and then scribe it out. But for a 2x2 frame, this is pretty strong. I can put my weight on it. I can put my weight on it without it breaking, so that should be strong enough for spare blades and a chainsaw and a few odd and end things. So it'll be even stronger once the 1-bys are on it, and the 1-by across the front will add some structural integrity. I think it's going to be pretty solid. Okay, so here's another little trick. This is a pair of needle nose vice grips with my pencil just gently squeezed in there. Not too tight, you don't want to break the lid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the back of it against the wall, and I've already got my board. I've already got my board scooted forward. There we go. So that it rests on there. And what I'm going to do is, as I'm following the wall, it's transferring that angle and that depth onto the board so that I can cut it out. So if you look at that, that should follow that curve almost perfectly, and I'll be able to cut that out with my jigsaw, slide this back in, and I'll have a nice tight cut in shelf. So it's hard to do with one hand, so I'm going to put the camera down and finish up that scribe and then take it to the jigsaw. So this is the line that I scribed on the front of the trailer. You can see it better out here in the light. So I'm going to cut that out, and this should be a pretty close fit. I'm not going to use the jigsaw, I'm just going to use my skill saw. Take a little bit longer, but I don't feel like dragging a bunch of other tools out. I'm about ready to stop for the day, so get this cut out and placed in there. Well, I'm about to call it quits for the day, but I've got my first board screwed down. I just wanted to show you real quick how that scribed board turned out. And like I said, I cut it with the skill saw. I could have gotten a little bit more fancy and used the jigsaw, cut in around those pieces of trim and all of that, but I just kept it simple, and it's in there nice and tight for the size of the parts and things that I'll have on it. That should be just fine. My simple front shelf in my trailer is all finished up. So where I left off was I had this front board in, and I cut this next one to width and length and got it laid in there, and then I used one of the remaining 1x4s that I was repurposing and ran it across the front so that I could screw it into the frame and also into the side of the shelf, and that created a very strong shelf and a strong lip. It's an 1.5 inches high, so the items that I'm going to have up here, that will keep those from being able to slide off. And on the front, I did hold it up. As you can see, I held it up about a 1/2 inch on the 2x2 frame that ran underneath, and that was just to give myself, I would have only had an 1 inch high lip on the front, and so I ran that up just a little bit to create more of a lip on top, and that also kind of gives it a rounded bottom edge. So, you know, I bend over and go to pick something up. If I hit my head on it, at least I'm hitting some 2x2 instead of the edge of a 1x1. And I might even, or a 1x rather, I might even run a sander over that just to de-splinter it and kind of round it off a little bit. But anyway, that is one project down and money to go in this trailer. I've got a lot of empty wall space here that I just can't wait to fill up. Now, actually, I hate the idea of having it full and having everything crammed in here, but I do need to get the necessities in here to finish running some runners and some plywood, that type of thing, so that I've got a good solid place to attach the things that are necessary to have with me, which would just be, you know, probably some basic hand tools up here in this corner, you know, shovels, rakes, etc. Still have to get my backpack blower in here, and I'm going to make room for 2 of those because I'm eventually going to buy another one. And I want to have room for another trimmer because I'll probably purchase another one of those in the near future. And then, of course, backpack sprayer, a place for gas cans, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So anyway, got a good start. Thanks for watching.